The most important thing to keep in mind is that we need to have a self financed and self sustaining economy. And the metrics that you have mentioned are important in that regard because for any society, and I've been looking at the world economy, when inflation goes out of control, societies fall apart. Thankfully, our people demonstrated that resilience and patience, and so when inflation was very high, they still managed to make it through. And now, as inflation comes down, there's plenty of room on the monetary side for monetary easing and for monetary stimulus. And on the current account side, there was a tough policy on imports, which has a negative effect on growth because the inputs for our exports actually come partly through imports, and the value chain is more complicated than just pluses and minuses. So, on these sorts of metrics now, as the finance minister is saying, there is more room to be more growth oriented. I think it is a wonderful thing. But we have to also keep in mind that there is an IMF program. Damocles' sword is over our heads. And at the same time, the current global economic situation is volatile. We do see commodity prices coming down, which is a very good thing, but there's always this uncertainty. We just saw our neighbor go out of control over the last month, for example. Who knows how things will pan out? So we have to keep that room to maneuver, that fiscal cushion in order to be able to undertake things under duress as they may occur in an untoward and unexpected manner. In the short run, such decisions can, not show the right indications that actually the long term does, where you see a much better balance between what the government is getting in terms of tax revenue versus its expenditures. There's so much work being done on the tax front, and we've put one institution in charge of that, the FBR, to deal with 25 crore people. It's not an easy task. The real question has always been about expenditure, and particularly at the provincial level. And so when the finance minister shares these steps in progress that are being taken, it is a very, very positive sign. But the gains of that will likely be seen over the medium term. In fact, I wouldn't characterize it as short or long term, but I'm talking about a 2 to 5 year horizon. You'll see that there's much better balance in terms of public value creation by the government in terms of the revenue versus expenditure. I think is an extraordinary sign that this is happening. It's a very good thing.